last new moon of the year on December 23rd. And it's just a couple of days after the solstice. Incredibly powerful for releasing, clearing, letting go at this particular time. It's happening actually in the Mula nakshatra, which is right at the galactic center. And this is, of course, in Vedic astrology in the sign of Sagittarius. It's an incredibly transformative part of the zodiac, again, on the galactic plane. And coupled with the solstice time, just very, very auspicious as we reach the darkest day before we turn towards the light again. I always think of this time as kind of going through a funnel, as we move from summer and all this light, and we move inward, and finally we have to go through that smallest part of the funnel. And the truth is we can't take all of our baggage with us. Every year we're asked to release a little bit more. As we wake up, we become more aware. We also become aware of what's not serving us. And this is an incredible time of letting go. Also, Mercury is going to be going into retrograde on the 29th of the month through January 17th. So we want to start to get clear about some of our intentions, what we want to release, what we want to create, even before we go into this new year period of time. Hi, I'm Prema Gurreri, and welcome to Chart Your Path. I am so glad that you're here. If this is resonating for you, I appreciate you subscribing, liking, sharing this anywhere you can. And if you haven't already tuned in with my Divinely Aligned 2023 forecast and healing meditation, I encourage you to do so. The link is down below. I go through the transits for 2023 that are going to be really impactful. There's personal horoscopes, a transformational meditation, and lots of really great resources, a cosmic planner, place for you to take notes and really understand the houses and how this is going to affect you, what areas of life. So that's still at a 30% off discount through the end of the year, and the link is down below. I encourage you to partake in that. As we come into the new moon time, it's a darker period of time, and in the northern hemisphere, it's an incredibly dark period of time. I don't know. I live in the Seattle area, and it is dark around, sun's going down around 4 o'clock. It's a pretty dark time. This is a time where, as the outer light is diminishing, we are called inward, we're pressed inward, and sometimes that's not so comfortable. It is an incredible time for releasing, relinquishing, letting go, and coupled with this solstice period of time and this new moon being in Mula. Now let's remember that new moons are always a restart, and a solstice is also a restart. We're at an extreme. We have extremes, and then we also have the equinoxes where things are in ultimate balance. The universe is just so beautiful, the nature and the rhythms of stretching us and bringing us back in, bringing us out, calling us back in. This is a time of deeply going inward with the nakshatra of Mula, which is in Sagittarius in Vedic astrology, and it is represented, it's called the root star or the original star because it is at the center of the galactic center. And it's represented by roots, like a bundle of roots, and those roots they help us to get to the root of the issue. And Nriti, which is a form of Kali, the goddess Kali, is a god of destruction, and really helps us to sort of break things apart, like break the bound roots apart, so that we can literally, it's said to mark the end of materialization and the beginning of spiritualization. So think of spiritualization as being energy, and materialization as being more the density, the matter. Both have their place in, as we keep a foot in both worlds. But we want to, this energy really helps us to release the materialization of thought forms, things, ideas, patterns, programming, whether it was a trauma, whether you signed up for it yourself, or whether it was a program that latched onto you, that, so that we can release that materialization of that, release it back into its energetic form. We clean our slate in that way, and we can start anew. So the solstice is giving us an opportunity to start anew, as well as this restart, of course, of the new moon, which we have every month with every lunar cycle. So with Mula, we have this opportunity to really shine the light into sort of the nooks and crannies of the soul, and help you to see what's, the debris and what's the beliefs, the emotions, the patterns that are no longer serving you, so that we can actually clear them out and release them. Sometimes awareness is all we need, and awareness always precedes change. So once we're aware of what's not serving us, we can make a choice to let it go. Sometimes we need to do some deeper healing work around that. And like in my monthly full moon healing circles, which I have every full moon, the link is down below around that, that those are all about us relinquishing and healing what we bringing in the light to heal. And so that as we bring into fruition what our soul is calling us to, we continue to sweep the path in front of us. So great time for doing clearing, great time for doing cleaning, inner cleaning, as so to speak. And it would be a really great thing if we could keep life really simple at this time of year, where we have limited bandwidth for being sort of out in the world. And for a lot of us, it's the holiday time, whatever it is that you celebrate. Happy holidays to you. So with that, I want to encourage you to remember that you can say no where it's most, if it's not a big yes, is something I believe in hugely and teach in all my programs. If it's not a big yes, it's a no. If it's not resonant, then it's a no. Allow yourself to give yourself some pull in period of time. And also with this time of year that we're in, sometimes we can't pull in as much as our soul is really calling us to, because we do have commitments and obligations. So make sure that you carve out that extra time for meditation in the morning, the evening. Dive in deeper in the time that you can, so that you can more fully show up for where you're being called, where your heart wants you to be during the so-called daylight hours, or being with loved ones at this time of year. And also, coming through the eclipse pattern that we've come through, there's still some reverberations of the clearing around relationship and the attempt to rebalance around relationship, which we'll be going through for the next year, which I also talk about in the 2023 forecast and overview, so that you understand these, we'll still be working with our independence and freedom versus our energetic exchange and relationships, and how that plays out and what shifts we need to make in that area for ourselves, so that we can keep moving forward with our soul path. So a few of the great questions to ponder during this time, to soul deep wisdom questions, would be, what do you really need to let go of in order to move forward, even if you don't know exactly where you're going? So let that drop into your heart. Take a few moments and really sit with that question. You can come back to it. Another deep soul question would be that, what is it that you're needing now to heal? To heal. Maybe that's just some quiet time. Maybe that you do need to work with a practitioner. Maybe that you just need to have some deep self-care and self-love and compassion at this time. And another deep question for the solstice new moon time is, what is it that you really don't want to take forward with you, that you don't need, that's not serving you? It's good to know what you're ready to let go of and leave behind. And then I encourage you to do the deep soul work to do that. We have a Mercury retrograde starting on the 29th. So right before the new year, we get this sort of wonky time of Mercury going retrograde. Now, what's really unique about this Mercury retrograde is that it is shifting from this last year of being in Earth constellations, which represent either your spiritual, your wealth, your purpose, or your relationship houses, that triplicity of houses within your chart, and then it goes back into Sagittarius. Now it's going to retrograde in all the fire signs for the next year to come, every time it retrogrades. So this is an incredibly poignant, again, one of the big 2023 shifts that I talk about in that forecast class. And with that, it's going to be affecting, and you're going to be reevaluating a different part of life. Now, starting with Sagittarius, it is going to really be working with our sort of personal philosophy and our personal beliefs, and the teachings and what we believe in, the sets of teachings that we subscribe to. And we're going to be reevaluating, do they really serve us? Because Mercury is the great communicator. It's also the great merchant, because Mercury rules business and rules the business quarter. So it's a great time to reevaluate your business if you're an entrepreneur, or the business that you do want to start. So that's also very important during this time. So, having a business, or whether you're just figuring that out and starting it, great time for this evaluation process around that. We're going to be really fired up. It's a fire sign. We'll be fired up with our sort of inspiration and our ideas, but not a good time to step forward with them until it goes direct on the 17th. And really, the days to watch out with Mercury retrograde and travel, I'm going to say, is probably going to be wonky around the holidays, after Christmas and the New Year with this Mercury going retrograde. But you really want to watch out for December 28th, 29th, and 30th, the day before, day of, and day after the retrograde. And then January 16th, 17th, and 18th, that's when it's going to go direct again. That's when it's going to get the wonkiest. So that's where you don't want to make any big commitments, sign anything long lasting if you don't need to. If you can avoid travel, I appreciate, that would be great too. And also, appointments get missed and such, so don't take things too personally during that period of time. Give yourself more time, give others more grace. But around the 17th is a really poignant time, because I'll talk about this more in the January update, so make sure you watch that as it comes out. But Saturn is going to move into Aquarius, which is this huge shift that'll happen and be there for the next 2.5 years. And so that is really going to call us into our social dharma, another thing I talk about in the 2023 forecast. The link for that is down below. And again, that's still available for 30% off through the end of the year. So this is an incredibly powerful time that we're in. We're going to really be doing some reevaluation just after we come into this time of this restart and this new moon, and relinquishing, letting go what's no longer serving you for where you're going, and then starting to really connect with your intentions. The retrograde is not going to be a great time for sort of taking action on your New Year's resolutions, and you may not be clear about those until after Mercury goes direct. And I'll actually be bringing you something on visioning and helping you with that at that time. So again, I appreciate you so much being here. And if the 2023 forecast is speaking to you, the link is down below. And also, you're going to find a link down below that I'm going to run a special here, half off on my one-on-one consultations for 2023 forecast. If you want a personal reading with me, that's a limited time offer, and that's down below too. I just really want to serve you in stepping into what you're being called in your social dharma, and really understanding the terrain in front of you so you can make really clear choices based on the transits of the year. So much love to you. I appreciate you subscribing, liking, and sharing this around. And happy holidays to you. So much love.